We were talking about responsibility and age and how that correlates. I don't know if it really matters whether we say that everybody under the age of 21 cannot be responsible, or whether we say that some people can be responsible or not. It's like that's the question: who here in the audience thinks they're more responsible than me? Honestly. Okay, thank you. Okay. So, hey. Let's go with the 7 people that raised their hand. There's 7 people. How many people are in here? I don't know. I can't count. But let's just say there's 100. So 7 out of 100 people think they're more responsible than me. I'm 25, and so I don't think it's a big issue here. I believe everybody can agree that a 25-year-old or a 21-year-old is more responsible than an 18-year-old. I mean, and the average person. So I just don't see how it correlates to why, if we want people to be more responsible, why we're lowering the age. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's it.
I think we have another question.
Hello, I'm Samantha Harris, a senior. This is for the man in the middle. How would you be able to test maturity? You're saying, oh, it depends. You're saying that it depends on your maturity or what your connection is. How would you be able to test that?
Samantha, that's an absolutely great question. I think about how we test maturity in other things. Let's say driving, for example. Okay. If you're going to drive, what do you have to do? You have to take a written test. You have to take a real driving test. I think that if we put American ingenuity to the test here, we could find, it's not going to be a perfect way, we're going to miss something. But my problem keeps going back to sort of the overgeneralizations that people under 21, are all at the same way. Having worked with young adolescents and young adults, I can tell you, there is great variability among all of you out there. And that, it could be like applying for a job. If you think about creating a resume, creating a list of things that really demonstrate that you have shown good judgment in the past. Past behavior is a great predictor, is the best predictor of future behavior. So if we have somebody who's 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, who's had bad behavior with alcohol in the past, why in the world, when they turn 21, would we say, it's okay now to have alcohol? I think we do have a problem with how to demonstrate it or how to prove it. But I think communities could do that. In fact, I would love to see, especially the highway, the U.S. government said we're not going to put this dissuader on your foot and say you can't change it or else you're going to lose a lot of highway funding. I would like to see them to back off and say, let's see some creative programs out there. Let's see what communities can do to create new ways of addressing this problem. Right now, nobody's willing to do that because they're going to lose millions and millions of dollars in highway funding. But if they took that away and said, okay, Columbia, okay, Hickman High School, come up with some ways that you can demonstrate maturity and judgment. I think we can do better. And ultimately, it's fairer. I think good public policy is fair. Anytime you have a blanket statement, all 18 years old, all 21-year-olds, you are forgetting about the variability that's out there. Some of you, I wouldn't want to drink alcohol. Some of you have not shown good responsible decision-making in the past. Some of you have not shown maturity. Some of you couldn't get a good job reference or a reference from a teacher, if you paid them. But there are others out there who have done everything right, who are very mature, and you should have the opportunity to earn and have this privilege. I think it's an individual thing. Yeah, it's a challenge. How are we going to make that happen? But I think that's the goal.
I agree that's a very difficult question. But one point I'd like to make is that you can't determine how mature someone is unless you give them an opportunity. If they don't have an opportunity to demonstrate that they're responsible, then how can you determine that they're having maturity to handle those decisions that an adult makes? So I think that's the biggest issue. You have to have an opportunity to demonstrate that you're responsible and mature. And I'd like to quickly rebut Mr. Moses, the law enforcement officer, about alcohol prohibition in the 1920s. It may have reduced the amount of alcohol that was consumed, but it also caused a great deal more harm to our society. If everyone think back to the movies of Al Capone and everything else that occurred during drug prohibition, it encouraged the creation of organized crime due to black market and alcohol. So those are some of the unintended consequences we get sometimes when we try to use laws and regulations to regulate behavior that people are going to do anyway.
You realize that was a movie?
He says that was just a movie, but if you take a look at the murder rate in the United States, you will see that when Prohibition started, the murder rate started to rise. After Prohibition was ended, the murder rate started to drop. And then in the 60s, when drug prohibition started in earnest, you see the murder rate start to rise again. Prohibition doesn't work. It creates organized crime, and it creates a terrible problem with crime in our communities. Thank you.
I just want to say it seems great if you could point at somebody and say, you're responsible and you're not responsible, you are. But in a matter of law, you have to set an age, and you have to set an unbiased way to determine, when somebody's responsible for a particular issue or not. At 18, you're responsible enough to sign contracts. You're responsible enough to vote. I mean, you can pick the leaders in this country, but you're not able to sip on a beer in the privacy of your own home. Something's wrong there. You'll hear, the critics today, they'll say that, well, 21 is save lives. Well, the most recent study shows that the drinking age of 21 does not save lives. It postpones the deaths of drinking and driving. So instead of dying at 18 to 20, you're going to die at 21 to 23. That's why we agree, our movement agrees that the answer comes to enforcing the laws related to drinking and driving. We think that if you prevent drinking and driving, you will prevent lives. But the only way you're going to find people wanting to prevent them is if you allow them to learn how to drink responsibly. And the way you do that is you allow people to be educated on alcohol, on those issues while they're still in their parents' homes. It's not always the answer just, well, parents can't control. If you don't think parents can control children, then maybe the responsibility needs to lie with how old you should be before you have kids. I mean, the reality is that the 21 drinking age is not working, it's not saving lives. Lowering the drinking age is going to give people more time, and it's going to make equality in the law, and that's what we're looking to do.